Ladies and gentlemen, the hardest thing for most people when it comes to prayer is that part where you've got to believe it before you see it. That's tough, because we're trained our whole lives to only trust what we can touch, what we can see, what we can prove. We're told, "I'll believe it when I see it." But in God's world, it doesn't work that way. With Him, you gotta flip it. You've got to see it in your spirit long before it ever shows up in your hand. Think about it. When a farmer puts a seed in the ground, he doesn't walk out the next morning and say, "Well, I don't see no crop, so I guess it ain't working." No, he believes in the seed. He waters it, he nurtures it. He trusts that even though he can't see what's happening underground, something is happening. That's faith. Prayer works the same way. When you drop that prayer, when you plant it in the soil of faith, you can't go out the next day and say, "Well, I don't see nothing yet. I guess God didn't hear me." No, if you planted it, you've got to believe the roots are forming even if you can't see a thing. Now, let me tell you why this is so important. If you pray for something but secretly doubt it at the same time, you're canceling your own request. That's like sending a letter in the mail and then chasing down the mailman to snatch it back. You said you wanted it, but you didn't trust it enough to let it go. Faith is about letting go. It's about saying, "God, I've already handed it over to you, and I trust you're handling it." Most of us don't miss out on blessings because God said no. We miss out because we didn't believe long enough to let the yeses show up. We pray for a new job, and then we doubt. We pray for healing, and then we start Googling every symptom until we're more scared than faithful. We pray for love, then say, "Well, I guess nobody's ever gonna want me." See, that's not belief. That's self-sabotage. You can't pray one way and think the opposite. Believing before you receive means carrying yourself like it's already done. If you're praying for a business, start acting like a business owner now. If you're praying for a house, keep your finances ready and your credit straight now. If you're praying for healing, speak life over yourself now. Don't wait until the doctor clears you. Wake up and say, "By His stripes I'm healed," even when you still feel sick. That's not denial. That's faith speaking into existence what you already trust God to deliver. I remember somebody once told me, "If you only pray for what you can see, that ain't faith, that's sight." And they were right. See, faith lives in the invisible. Faith is that bridge between where you are and where God is taking you. The problem is, most of us try to peek under the bridge to see if it's sturdy before we step on it. But God is saying, "Just walk. I got you." And here's the thing. When you believe before you receive, the walk gets lighter. You stop stressing every day about when and how it's going to show up, and you start resting in the fact that it already belongs to you. Look, if you prayed for it, and you know you're aligned with God's will, stop worrying about the when. Stop pacing around wondering if it's going to work. Stop doubting every time it takes longer than you expected. Every blessing that ever showed up in your life had to start in the unseen. Every answered prayer you ever had came at a time when you didn't know how it would work out. You just believed. So why stop now? You've got to train your mind to see beyond what your eyes are showing you. You've got to tell yourself, "I may not have it in my hands, but I've already got it in my spirit." Walk like it's yours. Talk like it's yours. Thank God like it's already yours. That's what unlocks the blessing. Because let me tell you, God doesn't respond to worry. He doesn't respond to fear. He doesn't respond to doubt. He responds to faith. And faith means you believe before you receive. Patience in the process is probably one of the toughest lessons in prayer. Because the truth is, we live in a world that has trained us to expect everything instantly. We get frustrated if the Wi-Fi takes more than 3 seconds to load. We complain if the drive-through takes more than 5 minutes. We want our food fast, our results fast, our blessings fast. But prayer doesn't operate on fast food timing. God is not a drive-through. He is a master chef. And when a master chef is preparing something, it takes time, it takes seasoning, it takes patience. See, when you pray, you're not just saying words. You're planting a request into the hands of the one who knows everything about you. And here's the thing, his timing is never late, but it is almost never our timing either. And that frustrates us because we want it now. We say, Lord, I need this by next week. I need that by next month. And when it doesn't come when we expect, we assume he didn't hear us. But what if the delay isn't denial? What if the waiting period is really the preparation period? Think about it like this. If you hand a child the keys to a car before they're old enough, that car isn't a blessing. It's a disaster waiting to happen. The car itself isn't the problem, the timing is. Some of the things you're asking for are absolutely meant for you, but if God gave them to you too soon, you wouldn't be able to handle them. You've been praying for that promotion, but you don't know yet how to lead people. You've been praying for a marriage, but you haven't learned how to heal from your last heartbreak. You've been praying for more money, but your spending habits haven't matured yet. If he gave it to you right now, it would slip through your fingers. That's why patience is not punishment, it's protection, and I know waiting is hard. I know there are nights when you're asking God, Lord, when is it going to happen? How much longer do I have to wait? But here's the thing, waiting with God is never wasted time. Something is always happening in the delay. He might be shaping you. He might be moving people out of your life that would mess up your blessing. Or he might be arranging the right opportunity to cross your path at the perfect moment. You just can't see it yet. It's like when you order something online. You click buy, you get a confirmation, and then you wait for the delivery. Now, while you're waiting, you don't panic. You don't call the company every 10 minutes saying, is it coming? Are you sure it's on the way? You trust the process because you've got the receipt. Prayer works the same way. When you pray, that's your confirmation number. You may not see it yet, but it's already in transit. You just gotta wait for the right delivery date. And here's something I've learned. Sometimes if God answered our prayers too quickly, we would take the credit. We'd say, look what I did, instead of look what God did. But when he makes you wait, when he stretches your patience, by the time it finally comes through, you can't deny it was him. You'll know it was his hand, his timing, his plan that made it happen. Now, don't mistake patience for passivity. Patience doesn't mean you sit around doing nothing. Patience means you prepare while you wait. If you're praying for a better opportunity, keep sharpening your skills. If you're praying for a relationship, keep working on becoming the best version of yourself. If you're praying for health, keep making choices that line up with healing. Patience means you trust God enough to do your part and let him handle the rest. And let me tell you, when it finally comes, the wait will make sense. You'll look back and realize, if it had happened earlier, you wouldn't have been ready. If it had come when you asked for it, you might have ruined it. The waiting period is the stretching period. It grows your faith. It builds your endurance. It teaches you to trust God's timing over your own. So if you're in that space right now where you're waiting, don't let the delay discourage you. Don't assume silence means denial. Patience in the process means understanding that God's timing is perfect, even when it feels like it's taking too long. Because when the answer finally comes, it will not only be right, it will be right on time. Gratitude while you wait is one of the most powerful keys to trusting your prayers. But it's also one of the most overlooked. Because let's be honest, most of us are guilty of saying, Lord, when you bless me, then I'll be thankful. We make our gratitude conditional. We say, when I get the job, then I'll shout. When I get the house, then I'll praise. When I get the healing, then I'll rejoice. But gratitude doesn't start when the blessing arrives. Real gratitude is thanking Him before the package even shows up. See, gratitude is proof to God that you trust Him. It says, Lord, I don't see it yet, but I already know you're working. I don't have the answer in my hand, but I'm going to thank you like it's already done. That kind of attitude keeps your heart in the right position while you wait. Because waiting without gratitude turns into frustration. Waiting without gratitude turns into complaining, and complaining pushes blessings further away. Think about the children of Israel wandering in the wilderness. God had already promised them a land flowing with milk and honey. But because they spent so much time complaining instead of being grateful, they delayed themselves. They had food from heaven, water from a rock, protection in the desert, and they still grumbled. And that grumbling kept them stuck. Gratitude, on the other hand, keeps you moving forward. Gratitude says, I may not be where I want to be yet, but thank God I'm not where I used to be. And let me tell you, gratitude isn't just about being polite to God. Gratitude changes you. It shifts your perspective. It opens your eyes to see blessings you've been overlooking every day. You may not have the promotion yet, but you've got a job that still pays the bills. You may not have the house yet, but you've got a roof over your head tonight. You may not have the full healing yet, but you woke up this morning with breath in your body. When you start thanking God for the little things, you create room for the bigger things. Sometimes we block ourselves because we act like life has to be perfect before we say thank you. But if you wait until everything is perfect, you'll never be thankful. There will always be something missing, something you're waiting on, something that's not quite right. Gratitude is not about perfection, it's about perspective. Gratitude says, even in the middle of this storm, I can still see the sunshine peeking through the clouds. Gratitude says, even though I'm waiting, I can still celebrate what God has already done. Now here's what's powerful. Gratitude is like fuel for your faith. The more you thank Him, the more you believe He's able to do it again. When you look back and thank God for the last door He opened, it strengthens you to believe He can open the next one. When you remember the last time He healed you, you can thank Him knowing He can heal you again. Gratitude keeps your faith alive while you're waiting. And don't miss this, gratitude isn't just about words, it's about how you live while you wait. If you say, Lord, I'm thankful, but you walk around bitter, angry, and frustrated, that's not gratitude. Real gratitude is reflected in your attitude. It shows up in how you treat people. It shows up in how you carry yourself. Gratitude gives you a glow, a peace, a joy that doesn't make sense to people around you. They'll look at you and say, how are you so calm when you're still waiting? And you'll be able to say, because I know who I'm waiting on. I've learned that when you're thankful for what you have, God trusts you with more. Why would He hand you a bigger blessing if you can't appreciate the smaller ones? Gratitude is the gateway to greater. If you can thank Him for the little, He'll multiply it into much. And sometimes, the very act of gratitude speeds up the process. Because gratitude creates expectation, and expectation draws blessings closer. So if you're waiting right now, don't waste that season with complaints. Don't spend all your time staring at what you don't have yet. Look around, look at what God has already done for you, and start saying thank you now. Because if you can be grateful in the middle of the wait, when the blessing finally comes, you won't just celebrate the gift, you'll celebrate the journey that got you there. Consistency over doubt is what separates people who just pray once and hope for the best from people who actually see their prayers manifest. Because the truth is, it's easy to pray one time and then quit when nothing happens. It's easy to ask God for something, Not see it right away and say, well, I guess it wasn't meant to be. But faith doesn't quit. Faith keeps showing up. Faith says, even if I don't see it yet, I'll keep knocking, I'll keep asking, I'll keep believing, because I know God hears me. See, doubt is sneaky. Doubt creeps in when you're tired of waiting, when the situation looks worse instead of better, when everybody around you is telling you it can't happen. Doubt whispers, why are you still praying? Nothing's changing. But consistency is what answers back. I'm praying because I trust God, not because of what I see. Consistency says, even when I don't feel it, even when I don't understand it, I'm going to keep showing up. Jesus himself told us, ask and keep on asking, knock and keep on knocking, seek and keep on seeking. He didn't say, ask once and then give up if it doesn't happen. He said, keep pressing, keep standing, keep believing. That's consistency. And the reason he said that is because consistency shows God that you're serious, that you're not just treating him like a last resort, but that you actually trust him enough to stay at his feet until something shifts. Think about it like this. If you're training in the gym and you lift weights once, you're not going to get strong. If you run 1 mile and then stop forever, you're not going to get fit. Growth comes from showing up over and over, even when you're tired, even when it's not exciting. Prayer works the same way. Consistency builds your spiritual muscles. Every time you pray, even when you feel like nothing's happening, something inside you is getting stronger. And let me say this, consistency doesn't mean repetition without faith. It's not about begging God like he didn't hear you the first time. He heard you. It's about showing him that you still trust him. Every prayer is another reminder to yourself that you believe he's able. Every prayer is like adding another brick to the wall you're building. One day, you'll look up, and that wall of faith will be strong enough to hold the blessing that's coming. Now here's the danger of doubt. It cancels momentum. Doubt is like putting 1 foot on the gas and 1 foot on the brake. You want to move forward, but you keep stopping yourself. Consistency, on the other hand, is steady. It's moving forward even when it's slow, even when you can't see the finish line yet. And the people who win are not always the fastest. They're the ones who refuse to stop. I've met people who prayed for years for healing, and the doctors said no, the reports said no, but they kept praying. And one day, the healing showed up. I've seen people pray for their children for decades, thinking nothing was changing, but because they never stopped, one day that child came back home. That's the power of consistency. It outlasts doubt. And here's the thing, when you pray consistently, you're not just waiting on God, you're changing yourself in the process. You're training your mind to lean on him daily, not just when you're desperate. You're creating a habit of faith, and habits are powerful. Habits shape who you are. A person who prays consistently, even through doubt, becomes someone unshakable, someone who can walk through storms without breaking. So don't let doubt talk you out of what God has promised. Don't let doubt convince you that just because it hasn't happened yet, it won't happen at all. Doubt is temporary noise, but consistency, that's permanent power. If you just keep showing up in prayer, keep thanking him, keep standing firm, eventually doubt will get tired. Doubt will lose its voice, but your consistency will still be standing. And when the breakthrough finally comes, you'll realize something. You didn't just pray your way into the blessing. You prayed your way into a stronger version of yourself. A version that can handle the blessing when it arrives. Because sometimes the blessing isn't just what God gives you, it's who you became while you refused to quit. So when it comes down to it, prayer is not just about talking to God, it's about trusting him. And trusting him means you don't quit in the middle of the process. You don't stop believing just because you can't see it yet. You don't stop thanking Him because you're still waiting. And you don't stop praying because doubt shows up. If you can believe before you receive, if you can be patient in the process, if you can stay grateful while you wait, and if you can choose consistency over doubt, there is no prayer too big, no dream too far, no breakthrough too late. Because God is faithful, and when He makes a promise, it will come to pass. Listen, your delay is not your denial. Your waiting season is not wasted. Your gratitude is building your faith. Your consistency is breaking down walls. And when it all comes together, you're going to look back and realize that God's plan was bigger, better, and greater than anything you could have asked or imagined. So keep praying, keep believing, keep thanking Him. Keep showing up, because the blessing you've been waiting for, it's already on the way. And when it shows up, it won't just be an answer to your prayer. It'll be proof that trusting God was the best decision you ever made.